All right, well, welcome to contingency planning, and this short video is going to provide an overview of the components of a contingency plan and kind of some general structural things you need to know before we dig into the details. So first of all, let's start with the definition. Contingency planning, it's this overall process of preparing for something that's unexpected. Remember the kid on the hood of the car, and it looks like the car is going 100 miles an hour in a 35 mile an hour zone. That should be something that's unexpected, and how we handle that is going to be critical. It really consists of four components. You have a business impact analysis, which we're going to talk about in a subsequent video, that underlies everything we do and supports incident response planning, disaster recovery planning, and business continuity planning. When you look at those, these are listed in the order in which I would recommend that you develop them. So in other words, I would do an incident response plan. What do I do when something really bad happens immediately first? And then do a disaster recovery plan, then do a business continuity plan. So doing it in that order is important. Underlying that is going to be the business impact analysis of what could happen and how do we do that. All right, so let's talk a little bit about the whole process overall. First of all, one thing that you want to start off with developing a policy statement that says, what are you trying to do? Why are we doing this? From that, go ahead and do that business impact analysis. Identify some of those controls that you can place that can limit your risk. Discover how, or talk about how you're going to recover. Then go ahead and put into place that contingency plan. Don't forget testing, training, and exercising. The fact that you've got a great plan on a piece of paper is not meaningful. You want it to lead to change by the members of the team that are actually using that, and then figure out what your maintenance strategy is going to be. For all plans, you want to be able to come back on a periodic basis and update that plan. Put what that cycle is going to be and then maintain that cycle. Have some cycle of doing assessment and sensing from the environment what's working well, what's not working well. All right, let's go in and look again. This is in the overview section, so let's look at an overview level of all of these contingency plans. What's going to be inside one of those plans? Well, first of all, you want some statement from senior management. Why is this important? What is the scope and purpose of the contingency plan operations that you're using? Again, what I just talked about, that idea of a periodic risk assessment and business impact analysis. What are the major components? Some recovery options and strategies. How are you going to test it? And then at the end, identify who the key individuals are, what their responsibilities are, the key regulations and standards, and how those relate to what you're trying to accomplish within this particular plan. All right. Next, you want to start building some teams that are going to be responsible for executing this continuity planning process. And there are really four different teams. One team is going to be that overarching team, the continuity planning management team, that is going to look at all components and integrate them together. And then for each of the three major areas, incident, disaster, and business continuity, you want to build a team of folks that are looking at that and that are assembled with some processes around how they're going to work together to make all of this work. So let's look at that first one, the contingency planning management team. Here we go. So this is what the purpose is. We're going to collect information about systems, their threats, do that business impact analysis, and then start building the plans associated with each one of those. And then underlying, again, we've got those focus teams that are specifically looking at it. Who are your team members going to be? Well, you want to have a champion. That's probably going to be an executive. A project manager that keeps you on schedule, keeps you on task, keeps everything rolling the right way. And then team members who are impacted by that. And they may be business owners, they may be security managers, they may be members of your IT team. You want to have a nice mix on the continuity planning management team that's looking over this entire scope and figuring out how we're going to do contingency planning. Well, guys, that concludes, actually, doesn't continue, but it concludes the second video on contingency planning. Next, we're going to look at those three underlying teams and what they're responsible for.